iMove family, how we doing today? We're all surviving COVID-19. We're all spending a little bit more time at home with our family, and unfortunately, we're socially distancing ourselves from our friends. But we'd like to provide you a little opportunity every day to keep moving and to get moving, and also maybe even to provide a little smile to brighten your day. So I'd like you to know that I actually am here in the laundry room, and I do have my hand sanitizer, and I would like to practice my good hygiene by using my hand sanitizer for the 20 seconds as I rub it in, as I continually to socially distance myself from the washer and dryer. So, one area that we always talk about is the importance of hip mobility. And our hips are that focal point that kind of transfers forces from our lower body to our upper body. And so many of our issues that we have, either low back pain, thoracic neck pain, can actually be driven from what goes on in our hips. So a real simple activity that I like involves just some simple hip movement. So we're going to start with feet forward, about shoulder width apart. And think of your pelvis has two sides. And I use the analogy that our pelvis can translate forward and back, our pelvis can translate side to side, and our pelvis can rotate along each of those axes. In addition, our pelvis can rotate this way, our pelvis can rotate this way, and the pelvis can actually rotate down and up along those axes. So what we're going to start with is, imagine hands are on your hips and that's your pelvis. You're going to start with just trying to translate those hips forward and back. You're going to find that you don't get a lot of movement. You're going to struggle to get it, but again, just try to go nice and easy. Then, about 10 times. Then let's follow that with, see if you can get your pelvis to translate side to side. And actually, as you do it, you'll feel your weight shift from right to left. Okay? Then follow that with, can I get my pelvis just to rotate along that axis? So you're going to spend a little bit of time on each of those three. Now, we're going to get a little bit more movement, and what we're going to do now is we're going to ask that pelvis to rotate along the axis differently. So now, those hips are going to go forward and back. And again, think about rotating forward, think about rotating back. Then we're going to rotate that side to side. So I even say exaggerate a little bit. So if you watch, as I go right, my trunk goes left. As I go left, my trunk goes right. So that kind of demonstrates how we're all connected. Okay, so side to side. And then the third, I'm going to give you one that's a hula hoop. So clockwise rotation, and then reverse it, excuse me, and go counterclockwise rotation. All right, so we have the translation and we have the rotation. Now, to change things up a little bit, I'm going to put my right foot forward, and I'm just going to go toe of my left foot to the heel of my right. And I'm going to go with that forward and back. And what you'll find is, as I come forward, I get a little bit more stretch on that left hip. And then I've got the side to side, and then I've got the rotation clockwise and counterclockwise. Then I'd reverse it, and I'd put my left foot forward, and I've got that same thing. I got a little more stretch now on my left side. I've got the side to side, and I've got the rotations clockwise and counterclockwise. So what you can do is you can vary your foot positions. If I go wide, you'll find I don't get quite as much movement. If I go narrow, it changes my movement. If I turn my toes in a little bit, it changes the movement. So I could choose any varied foot position, but the goal, again, is to rotate front to back, side to side, and clockwise, counterclockwise. So that is your hip mobility exercise for today. So remember to keep those hips moving.